It's more than a cut. It's a conversation. It's a nurturing vibe. It's when you sit in my chair, you feel quality, confidence, reassurance. I could bring it out of you. I'm in complete control. The barber plays a major role. Behind the clippers.
I answered.
Behind the clippers.
I think part of our development begins with the barbershop. Because once you're there, you're blessed with a sense of style and identity. And then when you combine both elements together, it gives you the whole makeup of the individual, Now that's just the exterior. The interior is just important. And for that reason, we feel that haircuts, they speak to the soul itself.
Just because you're a barber doesn't necessarily mean that you actually cut the same way as the next person. Like for an example, I could give a recipe to 200 people. 200 people is gonna make that recipe, but it's not gonna all taste the same.
Right.
They's gonna give you 200 different variations of the same recipe. See what I'm saying? So that's how I feel like it is in the barber world. Barber world, just because you sit there and you got a pair of clippers and an apron and you throw on some gloves, you may necessarily know how to cut, but not every haircut is gonna be like the next man.
Cuts by Cruz is one of those dudes that you want to have him on the team. He's another guy that has an abundance of knowledge. And he really knows, he's really serious about, his cuts and how they look.
You know what I'm saying? It falls in your hands to make sure that you take your level, your craft to the next step. Because if you stay right here, it's gonna show. Your haircuts is gonna show. You're gonna fall behind times. If you sit there and you elevate every single time and you go the extra mile, that moves up. You know what I'm saying? So that has a lot to do with your skills.
The brother's talented, man. Very, very, very talented. The haircut is the product. So many barbers, a barber can't walk in somewhere and say, "Hey, look, let me cut your hair. I'm great at what I do." But they could say, "Well, hey, look, here's my work. Here's pictures of my work. Here's pictures of hairs I cut. Matter of fact, I cut his hair, the person that you're looking at now." And then that opens up. Like, okay, well, if he cut his hair like that, then I know he'll cut my hair like that. And I'm gonna tell you something, I'm gonna be honest with you. Even if you have a good barber, if you see someone else with a nice haircut, then you still wanna, know who that barber was, because almost everybody has a backup barber. Now some would disagree, but almost everybody, almost. I know I do, I have about 3 backup barbers, so.
Behind the clippers.
I've hit the bottom before, you know what I mean? It ain't the end of the world, you know what I mean? You gotta pick yourself up and keep going. More like pay attention to detail. That was one of the main things I realized from watching him cut hair. That kind of boosts my career itself, you know what I mean?
I really wanted to talk to JR of JR's Barber Salon. I mean, you know, the thing that I know, one thing that I know about JR is that back in 2009, 2010, since I've known him, he's always been a guy that has been big on appointments. Like, outside of just, I guess, being able to plan your day, control your day better, why do you think appointment-based barbering is just so popular?
It's the type of clientele you get.
Hmm.
When you look at it, you know, if I got somebody that's willing to make an appointment and pay me the price that I want, that's the type of clientele I want. I don't have to deal with the riffraff.
Okay, as in the walk-ins.
Well, I'll deal with a walk-in if I have time to do it. If I have an appointment that I might have somebody that cancels, you might walk in right on time while somebody canceled, or you might call me on time. I say, get here in 10 minutes. That'll be beneficial to you. But as far as being beneficial to me,
Yeah.
the appointments are good because I can deal with a certain type of client.
You can look at JR and tell that he was, you know, he was built for this. He just has that, his aura, his vibe is, you know, just like how he looked, that's how he is, you know, straight up serious and about business. Just by being like a black, you know, entrepreneur, owning his own barbershop, is there like any, like, I guess any systematic challenges or anything because you know, have you experienced anything like that?
No, the only thing I really deal with day to day or year to year, however you want to look at it, whereas being an owner, I feel like I'm responsible for everybody's job at times, you know. It's on me to keep this place open.
Whenever a barbershop closes, usually the whole community is affected. Of course, the barbers are affected, you know, the customers that come in and stuff like that, but the whole entire community, you know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about a place that is just responsible for a lot of relationships. You know, the barbershop nurtures a lot of relationships. So in the event that closes or that's taken out of the community, or, you know, for whatever reason is no longer there, then everybody becomes affected.
Behind the Clippers.
I feel like style is all in your mind. You know what I'm saying? It's really no right or wrong way to do it. You know, everybody has their own way of doing it. It's different versions of it, you know. Everybody likes to present themselves in different ways and different shapes, sizes, forms. I mean, it's just a whole, you know, it's a whole thing. It's just based on the aura of the individual.
We won't stop. The tops we grow now. We won't stop. Tops we won't stop. The tops we grow now. We won't stop. Now we won't stop. The tops we grow now. We won't stop. Tops we won't stop. The tops we grow now.
James has that type of hair where it's super easy to fade. You know what I'm saying? If you think of James, and James had, like, you know, some curly stuff going on, and you cut it down, he's gonna automatically have waves. His hair is super silky. To me, I always tell him he's a black Frenchman, but he has really good hair, and it takes me about probably 20 minutes to give James a complete fade. He loves a all-around low, kind of like a drop fade, and he loves it balded at the bottom. I do a one close on top or in between just to bring them waves out, let it pop a little bit, and a nice fresh sharp line. He don't need no enhancement, just clean cut dude.
For fragrance, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna probably wear a little later on, man. support the cut, man. What you
Might do some bond number 9 or something like that. Something soft, you know what I mean? Not too pungent.
Nothing too okay. All right. And go ahead. Talk your shit.
No, I'm just I gotta tell you, Q, it's my first time, bro.
I feel like barbers, they have a third eye. You know, just how they're able to take a pair of clippers and just transform somebody's whole look. That's genius. You know, it's a form of art.
Mikey has that real tight curly hair. He has really light skin, so the transition from his haircut and his skin, it just makes it, you know what I'm saying, it's an everlasting look once you finish that complete haircut. So first, Mikey, how old are you? 24, so you're really in that prime age where your haircut actually has to look nice, right? You got a step. So what would be your most worn haircut?
Temp fade, ball on the sides, ball on the back.
Okay.
Temp fade.
All right. With the sponge look or with the wave look?
Sponge look, most definitely. Gotta have a sponge.
All right. Why the sponge though?
The sponge just give it a different touch to it, a different touch of the haircut.
Behind the clippers.
The barbershop is where my dad would bring me and I would see him interact with men. Then when I was old enough to go to the barbershop by myself, I had a relationship with my barber.
I caught a flight to Houston, Texas. And from Houston, I jumped on the road and I went to Conroe, Texas. A buddy of mine stays out there by the name of Chip Baker, and he was telling me about these guys that had a barbershop. He was like, man, you gotta talk to these dudes. They're just good dudes. They'll be good dudes for what you're trying to do. The love that those guys showed me was everything.
I remember one time in the first third of my life, my credit score was the same as my weight, 315.
We all have the same concerns. We all want our families to do well. We all want to be happy, healthy, and whole. And so when you really understand that other than this external surface, we're all really the same people.
Do you think that the mood of a barber affects the haircut?
It shouldn't. As a professional in a correctional facility, I couldn't let my mood affect my work performance because that's a dangerous environment. Just like in barbering, I can't let my mood affect my cut because that client is paying for a service. If you go into a restaurant and you pay $80 for a ribeye, if the chef is having a bad day with his wife, he can't let that affect his cookery of an $80 steak.
The reason why that question is so important is because when you think about the human element of somebody and how that whatever they're going through can affect their work performance, normally we see this on a corporate level. You know what I'm saying? And when you think of it on a barbering level, I wonder if the same thing is so. Case in point, you have somebody that works a corporate job and they may be having a bad day or some things is going on in life. Their performance usually may be affected by that. Now you have some that's good at leaving things at the door and they go in and do their job and stuff like that. But depending on what's going on, normally that can affect the work performance. Well, in the barber world, I wonder about that because from what we see is that, hey, we book an appointment right? We go in and get the service, have a conversation with them, and then we leave. We don't see them again until maybe next week or when it's time to go get a haircut again. And I'm speaking specifically to, you know, just the normal barber to, you know, consumer interaction thing. Not, you know, you have people that have personal relationships, they talk to their barber more. But what I'm saying is that what if that barber was going through a lot? Would that affect the performance? Is a poor haircut the result of what a barber is going through? Now, I'm not saying that, you know, barbers are out here giving out poor haircuts. I'm just asking. What if a barber is having a bad day? Is that haircut affected?
No matter what's going on in my day, I have to put that aside and give this individual the best product possible.
So what's the name of the cut that he's getting?
This is a highball taper. Highball fade. He's got a comb over. Kevin, because he's pretty fair complected, but then his hair is extremely dark. It's a really difficult cut unless the barber really is masterful, because you have to take all of the different colors in his fair complected skin to his really dark complected hair and make all of that transition so that it fades. The whole definition of a fade, I think, should be more like a dimmer switch, like a light switch, that it goes from dark and gradually gets lighter. You don't always see where the fade happens. You just see that there's skin down here, transparency of the skin, and then here, there's a total whole amount of hair that's enough to comb over in another direction. So it's a lot more art than it is, you know, science. So I think that's one of the things that has been a secret to our success. You can't have a name like Faded Glory if you can't do that.
You know, talking with KJ and Mr. Avery, I could really sit there and talk for hours. What's behind that type? Faded Glory. When I pulled it up and I saw the sign, it said Faded Glory.
Well, great question. I was born in 1969, and during that era, I remember the barbershop was a place, as a young man, my dad would take me. And at that time, they had a saying, don't speak unless you're being spoken to. And so as a little boy, my job was to just go to the shop and sit there and shut up 2-3 hours until it was my turn to get into the chair. But in between that waiting, we got a lot of knowledge, because in the barbershop, there was the pimp, the preacher, the prostitute. All of those people were in the room. And so you had an opportunity to soak up a whole lot of knowledge, or in my neighborhood, a whole lot of game, from a lot of different perspectives that I don't know that young men get that opportunity to really learn from a lot of different people's perspectives just by sitting and listening. And so those were, in essence, the glory days of the barbershop. Those days, 2021, for instance, have faded away, where youngsters, instead of listening to their elders, they play the knockout game and learn how they can try to knock a dude out. But in my day, we had respect for our elders. And so those glory days have faded away. And so it was really a play on words of the fade haircut and the glory days of the barbershop fading away. But ultimately, the glory part is the glory of God, because God gave me the ability at 42 years old to walk away from 26 years in the hospitality industry and start my professional career over as a barber. I didn't even know I could cut hair. But in the midst of barber college, God showed me where he had gifted me to really be a true artist in the sense of cutting hair. And so that's where the name really comes through, Faded Glory Barbershop.
Behind the clippers.
Jess, Drex, how you feeling, man? What's up?
Feeling good, feeling great.
Feeling great, feeling good. How are you? All right, so let me ask you this: like when you first started, like would you say that it was, you know what I'm saying, hard to find barbershops to work in? Like once you officially out of school, fresh out, was it kind of hard?
To be perfectly honest with you, it wasn't hard. My boy OG, we went to school together, and he was actually the one who helped me get in the shop. So, um, for me, it was pretty easy. OG told Mr. Outline basically,
Okay.
that he could vouch for me, and that's how I got in the shop basically.
Tell me how you got started. Well, how long you been barbering?
And professionally, I've been barbering for like a year now, year and a half. Unprofessionally, since I've been like 13, man. 13 cutting hair. So that's like, whew, damn, I'm getting old. 20 years.
20 years. So when you say, I noticed you said professionally. Are you saying in regards to you actually being licensed?
As in
Or you-
regards to me taking it serious. Taking it serious. You know what I'm saying? You know, back in SC, it was more like, you know, hey man, come to the porch, you know what I'm saying? Come to the kitchen, you know what I'm saying? $5 haircuts, whoever need one, stuff like that. But taking my craft actually serious and making up my mind like, this is my God-given talent.
Okay, that's been a year.
It's been a year.
Got you. All right, so I'm here with Mr. Seven.
What's going on, man?
What's
How
up,
y'all
brother?
doing?
How you
Seven
doing?
the Barber here. Shout me out at Studio 7. You know, you can follow me on Instagram, all that.
Let's talk, man. Let's talk, man. So,
go.
how did you get in? How did you get into barbering?
I would have to say, like, when I first started barbering, I was really just like on the fly guy side of it. Like, I was always fashionable, always had all the latest shoes, and you know, like school was still uniform, so I always like kind of dressed my uniform, but it was the cuts for me. My mom didn't want to take me every week, so you know, I had to get it in by myself. You know, I had to start cleaning myself up. You know.
So it kind of started with you just grooming yourself.
Yeah.
And then you transition and you start giving haircuts for other people. Talk to me a little bit about that. Was it like your homeboys and stuff?
Yeah, when everybody started asking me like, man, how you stay clean every week? Like, I'm like, man, I edge myself up. You know what I'm saying? Boys like, hey man, hold on, you got clippers at home? Yeah, come over, pull up. You know what I'm saying? They, for real, after football practice, they pull up. Yeah, we lit. You know what I'm saying? Our first haircut I ever do on my partner, his mom dropped him off. He got a mohawk. I was lit. I ain't gonna lie, I was lit. He got a mohawk. I was like, fuck everybody else. I'm doing mohawks now. I went from edge-ups to mohawk. Can't nobody fuck with me.
30 minutes early every day for my first client.
Do you clean the clippers? Do you do anything with the equipment? Or
My clippers are always clean, so
let me see how your clippers
we got these. We got this to clean the clippers.
Okay.
We got this to clean the clippers.
Okay.
And we got this if it's a super busy day. So typically, you know,
what about that, especially if it's a super busy day?
because it's 2 minutes. Typically,
minutes,
when you spray your clippers on these two, you gotta wait 10 minutes for it to actually be clean. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Prevent any viruses, anything going on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is 2 minutes here,
Okay.
and then I have blade wash. It's at the bottom. I'm not gonna grab it now.
Okay.
It's a little junky right now, but this is the setup.
Okay.
Like,
These are all your clippers. These are all your
my
babies
clippers,
right
man. They work for different people.
now.
Some people don't need all this, but
So what if somebody getting a temp fade?
it depends on the texture of the hair, to be real with you. So for your head, what did I use? I believe I used these, or I used those. I just got those because I wanted to try them out.
What would you say in your words has been an obvious difference when you were, I guess, doing it unprofessionally and then doing it professionally? Is there like a difference in clientele, experiences, anything like that?
Man, the major difference is me taking myself serious. That's the major difference. You know, nothing in life, in my opinion, could be successful if you're not taking it serious. You know what I'm saying? Look at all the people that be playing ball and stuff. They don't take it serious till they realize, oh, I can go to college for this. I can go to the NBA. Let me take it serious. So I started taking it serious. When I started taking it serious, then my clientele started taking me serious. Now I'm seeing politicians, lawyers, doctors, all type of walks of life. You know, different entrepreneurs. You know, so
So you would say that when you start taking it serious, you basically was there like an expansion on like your clientele.
Most definitely. I went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Right, whole squad on that real shit. So what was your? So you started cutting your hair first.
Yeah, I started edging myself up first. I ain't gonna lie though, I ain't start off perfect. The thing is, what I try to tell people is, you get the embarrassment from it first. You know what I'm saying? You get tired of people talking about you, girls clowning you, hey, your shit slanted, it's uneven. So you perfect yourself every time that you do it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing that you just start off 100% good. You know what I'm saying? It was something that I was trying. I couldn't afford it, so hey, I'm gonna try it at home. Even with ripped jeans, I couldn't afford them. I was ripping them up at home myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like anything that I couldn't afford, I was trying it myself.
So what was the first haircut that you used to wear? Like, what was because you got dreads now. So what was the cut when you
The
started
first
cutting hair?
cut I ever wear is because of my mom's and because she couldn't really, you know what I'm saying? It was the whole your hair grow back too fast type thing. So I was rocking the ball fades.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question. Do you ever like just buy clippers?
I do.
Just because they look good, like
That's
I
why I
want to
got
test
so
them.
many.
Okay.
Nah, to try them out. So
Okay.
the reason I have two sets of